Hey guys, welcome back to your mats. This practice is a post-workout flow. We'll do equal parts mobility and stretching, so that's why it's targeted for maybe athletes or if you just did a full body workout. We're gonna start today in a child's pose. With the knees really wide so that you're targeting your hips in this shape. And try today to, instead of reaching your arms forward, you can just stack your forearms on top of each other and use your arms like a pillow. This makes the slope from head to hips a little bit more even and potentially more comfortable for you. Just take a moment to arrive, making the breath slower and longer. And now start to move forward into a tabletop position. Hands go underneath your shoulders, and you'll slide your knees in underneath your hips. First, we're going to draw really big circles with your hips. So bump your hips way to the back right corner, then drag them around to a left corner, way forward, and repeat. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle at all. Go ahead and change directions. You're just trying to invite in some movement. Start to spiral your way all the way to center, and then reach your left arm up toward the sky. Take an inhale as you look up at your arm. As you exhale, we're going to thread the needle without landing. So left arm goes through the hole, threading the needle, and just reach in front of you as far as you can. Then inhale and open back up. Trying to synchronize the movement with your breath. So for the whole exhale, twist and reach. For the full inhale, you unwind. Look up. Just one more. Twist. And open up. And then tabletop. So you can do the same thing on the other side. On your inhale, right arm reaches for the sky. Exhale, twist and reach. Open as you breathe in. Twist as you breathe out. One more for good measure. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. That's a good song. Okay, finish at the top. Inhale. Back to your tabletop is your exhale. So I'm just turning so you can see me. But now you'll send your right leg out to the side for a half gate pose. So when you send the right leg out, make sure your heel is in line with your knee. Then lift your hands up off the mat. Arms go overhead. And we'll add a side body stretch. You're leaning over towards your left, rather towards your right. You're going to start to look up and do arm circles. And just notice what starts to tighten up here. If you can, bring in a little bit of softness and keep breathing. Change direction of your circle. And it can be an explorative circle too. I like to do wrist stuff at the same time. All the way back up to center now with both arms. And then one time, a back bend. You're in a cactus, your arms by your side. Draw the elbows back a lot and start to lift your chin up, directly upwards, like your throat is open. And then as you exhale, straighten out your spine. Put your hands back down on the mat. And then you can bring your knees back together. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So send the opposite leg out. Lift your arms overhead. Just group for a moment. Root into your feet. You push into your knee and your heel. And then side bend. Leaning towards your extended leg. until you feel a stretch on the outside of your waist. Lots of breath into this exposed lung. Then big circles with your arms. Just making sure to go both ways. And you can come all the way back up to the top. Tabletop is your exhale. Downward facing dog. For today in your down dog, make your feet a little wider and turn your hands to point outward just a little bit. So your pointer finger and your thumb are making a V shape together as opposed to straight forward hands. That would make more of an L shape. So pointer finger and the thumb, you're turning your hands out. That will take some of the pressure off of your shoulders. Go ahead and wag your tail. So bump your hips way to the left and then hips way to the right. Just go side to side. Now, with your right hand, grab your left ankle. And you can walk your hands closer if you need to. And you can grab your shin or your calf if you need to instead. You're just going to invite in a twist. So start to bend your elbow and pull as you push away from the mat with your left hand. It is a lot going on at once. That's okay. Breathe. And then your left hip, try to reach it up towards the ceiling, back a little bit. Try not to sink into it. Let's switch sides. Opposite hand to opposite ankle. Okay. Bend your elbow and pull. Reach up and back with your right hip. Big stretch for the IT band. And then both hands forward for downward facing dog. You're going to walk your hands all the way back to your feet now. For ragdoll. Ragdoll, you just grab opposite elbow and then sway from side to side. No real wrong way to do this. You can roll to the edges of your feet. Play, explore. You might lift and lower your butt. Notice if you kind of keep looking forward, almost habitually. That's a survival mechanism, so it's really normal. And at the same time, there's not a large animal chasing you, so you don't need it right now. You can let the top of your head start to point down and just remind yourself as many times as you need to that you're safe. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to stay upside down for a moment longer. Release your hands, reach them way behind your back, and try to interlace your fingers. So if your hands don't touch, no problem, just put them on your hips. A generous bend in your knees, like I'm almost doing a squat. I want your belly to be on your thighs, and so you have to bend your knees a lot usually to get that to happen. You're going to take your hands together and then start to push your fist up towards the ceiling. So any height is fine. And then again, top of the head points down. Breathe. Maybe lift and lower your butt. Little lifts. Sway. And now big release. Hands come down to the ground. Very slowly, very mindfully, you're going to roll all the way up to standing. So bend into your knees. Push through your feet as you roll upright. Out the top, shoulders go back and down. Turn sideways on your mat if you need to. And lift up your feet really wide, wider than your hips. And take the arms up overhead now. And grab opposite elbow. And you're just here to twist. So legs stay the same, but you twist your upper body as much as you can. One way, then the other way. Slow and controlled. So the exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Center and twist. Center and twist. One more time. Now come back to center. We'll do a side bend. So lean way to one side. Either side is totally fine. Lean into it. Notice if you're kind of rounding forward. Instead, lean back. It's like you're in between two panes of glass here. So straight up and down. And come back to center. Reset for a minute. Sometimes the blood can start to rush places. And then exhale, lean to the other side. Nice. Back to center. Gonna release your arms down and then fold over your legs. Whew. So when you get here, walk your feet far enough out for you to put your hands down on the ground or on blocks if you have them. Or maybe if there's a couch in front of you, that's fine too. I just want you to bend one knee and then the other knee, stretching the insides of your legs. Continue to move for 4, 3, full complete breaths. 2, and 1. You can make your way back to center now. And then all the way back to a tabletop position. So face the top of your mat. Step your feet together. And then just take your right knee, cross it over your left calf. So legs are crossed behind you. Then wiggle towards the middle of your mat and make your feet really wide. So as wide as they'll go. You're going to push your hips forward and back, getting into the outside waist a little bit. And you can go as far back as feels good. You could even come all the way back here and have a seat. I like to keep things in motion after I work out so I can get that deep stretch later on if I want to sit still. But when I'm first getting back into my body, sometimes I'm working through soreness. So I would stay up here and just move the hips around. If your wrists start to hurt, no worries. Either activate your fingers and actually push down. So use the whole hand to hold you up, or just come up onto your fist. You're going to switch sides now. Here's the reset. And then the opposite knee goes over your calf. Feet get really wide so that you can push your hips forward and back. Awesome. Uncross your legs one more time. Now, this one kind of sucks, okay? Just kidding. You're gonna widen through your knees. It's a full frog. Widen through your knees, as wide as they'll go comfortably. So here, so you can get the visual. Knees are way wider than the hips. You're welcome to stay up here on your hands, or even to take a block underneath your hands would work fine. Then peek over your shoulder and just make sure that your heel is in line with your knee and not way in here, but out here, right? From there, you should be able to feel inner thighs opening up. And if you just gently push your hips back, your butt should not be anywhere near your heels. As you can see, mine is not. But energetically push the hips back to kind of sink into the stretch. To go deeper, you just make your knees wider. Maybe elbows come down to the ground or to a block. Maybe you grab a pillow and shove it in your face. You bite it so you can not scream. Do what you need to do here. But then breathe. If you got to scrunch up your face, maybe ease up a little bit. You want to be able to take full, complete breaths wherever you are. Otherwise, you're kind of being counterproductive, as holding your breath tightens your muscles. Not here for much longer. Take a breath in. Start to pull your heels closer together. That's how we'll get out. Like that. Up to the handprints. And the knees come closer together over time. Phenomenal. We're going to finish with the child's pose, but this time with your knees together. And that'll make this shape a little bit more about your lower back. If you have a block, you could put it underneath your head. Option to stack your forearms and use them as a pillow again. And as we return to this shape that's similar to where we started, take a moment to notice what's changed and what remains the same. Thank you for taking some time to add some movement into your day. As always, it was a pleasure. Namaste.